My name's Jimmy Durr, and I'd like to do a little bit of hunting this year. Winter's coming up, and I'm gonna have some fun outdoors. Try and catch me some wild animals, and I'm gonna eat them. And not only that, I'm gonna share them with my family. We're all gonna eat them. Even the wonder dog here is gonna get some of the scraps. Now, I have to start this by saying it's probably not in my best interest to open my mouth. You see, I'm the type of person, well, I'm not sure if I am a type of person. I have this issue that's reoccurring where I have to try not to open my mouth because sometimes the result of me opening my mouth and giving my opinion to people causes all sorts of problems and difficulties around me. I'm the type of person that usually can ruin a family gathering and make people leave crying, and I don't even mean to do it. It's just I hear something and or somehow I end up talking and words come out of my mouth that most people are not prepared for. I don't know the main cause of this. I don't know. I try not to do things like that, but I still have my opinions. And these opinions could only be formed by living the way that I've lived. To me, the way that I've lived has been a great way to live. Unfortunately, others don't see it that way. And worse than that, it's hard for anybody else to really understand where I'm coming from. But still, even after knowing all of that, or seeing all of that, or experiencing all of that, I still like to think that most people agree with me on most things. I think they just don't talk about it. So I'm gonna say some things that I definitely should not say. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. It's not like I have something prepared to say. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to read a book. The New Jersey Hunting Guide. What's it called? Hunting and Trapping Digest of New Jersey. This is the book. It's free. You can go get it at a place that sells you a hunting license. My hunting license costs close to $1,000 a year. $1,000 a year to hunt deer and assorted critters. That's not all the licenses. That's just the ones that I buy. That's not all the ones you would need to do every season and everything. It's absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Okay, we can look at the bright side of that. So, about 120 years ago, there was the guy named Teddy Roosevelt, and he thought he was the king of the United States of America, and a lot of the things he did were better than most kings would have done, especially for the sportsman, because he was a hunter. They also named the teddy bear after Teddy Roosevelt. He also was the instructor of the Panama Canal, and he did lots of other really cool stuff, and also some really creepy stuff like starting wars for no reason, or for his own better benefit, or maybe for the country's better benefit. Who knows? Either way, Teddy Roosevelt wanted to make sure that I was able to hunt, and that I had animals to hunt. Very nice. Thank you, Teddy. He made it so that if a state sells a hunter a hunting license, the federal government doubles that money, meaning, or they match that money. So if I pay almost $1,000 a year for my hunting licenses, the federal government gives my state government $1,000. Now they have $2,000 that I've paid that they can use to pay people like game wardens to stop people from poaching. That would be the main idea there. Make sure there's animals for me to hunt with the license I paid for, and to get land for hunters. That's also a very nice thing. Great, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, they know that, and they need their money, so the price of these things always goes up. There's always another season, always another tag. They put a price on the antlers. The Division of State Wildlife people have put price tags on antlers. They're the ones selling the game. They're selling it to the hunters. At what cost? $1,000 for me to go catch some food on my own land? absurdity. Absolute absurdity. Government gone too far. Now, I was a smiley young boy that wanted to hunt and fish and trap and ride and drive and have all sorts of fun and excitement with this wonderful body I've been growing. Now, I wrote songs about deer hunting on the school bus. I wrote reports on white-tailed deer and other critters around me. I studied wildlife my whole childhood. I spent my childhood studying wildlife, waiting for the chance that I could get a gun in my hands and go after them. Welcome to New Jersey. Let's go hunting. So, as a little kid, I get my hunting license. I study hard. I follow all the guidelines in the test. I take it very seriously. And I get my hunting license. And by the way, not too many arguments with hunter safety courses. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. What they don't do is go over all the words in these books. They might skim over it, but this is a book of absurdities, and it's polished over and it's glossed over with the prettiness that is this girl hunting some ducks with her dog, and oh, take a kid hunting. Yes, but what about when that kid is off on his own? What about when that kid's standing a little bit too close to somebody's shed? What about when that kid doesn't remember that the most important thing to take hunting is a pen, not a gun, not a bow, not a knife, a pen? What about when that kid forgot to write down the date on his tag in the proper location at the proper time before he touches his trophy that he's worked 15 years to catch? What about that, Mr. and Mrs. Game Wardens? What about that? Well, here we go. Welcome to New Jersey. This could take 30 hours. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I have no idea the direction this is going to go, but it's not going to be pretty. Welcome to New Jersey. A summary of regulations. So the first sentence tells me that this is not all of the rules and regulations that a hunter needs to follow. This is only a summary. Where do I get the whole story? Who has that? Who has the whole book? How do I find out what I'm doing, if it's legal or not legal? Shouldn't this be pretty simple? I don't think Teddy Roosevelt would have approved of this book. New deer regulations. Thank you. I studied my whole life to pass the test, and every year they put out a book with new deer regulations. They're the same deer. It's been the same pretty much my entire life. There's lots of deer here. We can kill them. Actually, there's no limit on how many deer a hunter can kill in New Jersey. So you actually get something for all that money you spent for the license. You can fill your freezer 10 times over and it's totally legal. So why all the rules in between? Well, you can only shoot 2 at a time and between proper hours and not 5 minutes before proper sunrise. If you can see the deer and 200 yards behind it, it's still not time because they're watching their watches and they're watching their clocks. Okay. All right, calm down, Jimmy Durr. We didn't even get to page 1 yet, and I'm going off on a rant. Page 1. Advertisement. Getting more money. At least that's money that doesn't really seem to affect me. Okay. Page 2. Your dollars make a difference. When you purchase hunting and shooting equipment in New Jersey, excess tax dollars paid by manufacturers of ammunition, firearms, and archery equipment come back to New Jersey to support wildlife conservation. This is the Federal Wildlife Restoration Program. Thank you so much, federal government, for making everything I buy cost even more money. It's hard for me to get groceries, and I want to get some groceries out of the woods, and because of you, every dollar I spend on hunting costs more. Thank you so much. Your license fees and federal wildlife restoration dollars produce the following benefits: management and restoration of wildlife species throughout the state, acquisition of suitable wildlife habitat or public access for hunting or other wildlife-oriented recreations, development, maintenance, and restoration of wildlife management areas throughout the state, New Jersey's pheasant hunting program, creation of hunter education programs. All of this sounds really nice, and I would love to support it. Unfortunately, I live in the real world where I've been picked on a bit too much in life. And then there's this guy. He gets paid a lot of money, I'm sure. I'm sure that guy right there with that big smile is smiling all the way to the bank. He's got a college education, probably never hunted a day in his life, and he loves hunting. Oh boy. All right. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. He's a great guy, and he means well. I'm sorry, Dave. All right. Go to Ireland. Oh, another ad. Okay, go hunting in Ireland. I thought they were anti-guns there. Okay. Page 4. Bunch of nonsense. Get a mentor. I had mentors. They taught me how to hide from game wardens. Okay. Licenses. All persons hunting or trapping must be properly licensed. It is unlawful for any person aged 10 or older to hunt without a hunting license. It is unlawful for any person aged 12 or older to trap without a trapping license. Hunting licenses are valid for the calendar year, November 1st. Do not heat, laminate the durable license or permit. High temperature will destroy it. Okay, so far, pretty simple stuff. Child Support Program. The Child Support Program Improvement Act requires Fish and Wildlife to collect and maintain Social Security numbers and child support obligations before all sporting license applications. Okay, so if I owe child support, I can't hunt. My life sucks, I don't have a job, I'm unemployed, I've got kids that my ex-wife took away from me, I can't see them anymore, and oh, now I can't even hunt to go take my mind off things. Can't even go sit in a tree with a bow and arrow. Thank you, state of New Jersey. Thank you so much. What a help you've been. What if I want to feed the kids that I now can't afford? Aha. Okay. Farmer license exemption. Now that should just be the end of that. Farmer license exemption. Okay, you're a farmer and you're trying to grow things in the Garden State. Only the Garden State has lots of confusing rules. More and more people less interested in hunting and more interested in spending time on gadgets and gizmos. And lots of anti-hunters. And lots of housing developments which harbor deer. And lots of trophy hunters which harbor deer but don't fence them in, and then these tame deer don't have enough food because they're overpopulated on the piece of land that the trophy hunters are leasing because they want overpopulation so they can grow one big buck or two big bucks a year, so they need hundreds of deer on a couple hundred acres, and it's overpopulated and they've eaten all the food, so at nighttime they come out and steal the farmer's food while he's trying to feed a family and trying to have a successful business in a state where taxes are out of control, land prices are out of control, and people are out of control, quite frankly. Whew. So luckily there's a farm license exemption. A farmer doesn't have to buy a hunting license. That's nice, right? Oh, wait. See page 24. There's a whole page devoted to this. How could that be a whole page? Shouldn't that one sentence say everything? Farmers are exempt? Oh, no. No. Let's flip to page 24 and find out what a farmer needs to do to be exempt from a hunting license. Page 24. We're skipping over lots of good stuff, but we're going to go back. Oh, okay, a whole page about this. A farmer and members of the immediate family, see definition below. How is that not a definition? a farmer and members of the immediate family. Who needs help with that? This book thinks I'm stupid. Who also reside on the farm may hunt, trap, and fish on the farm without being licensed or possessing a valid rifle permit. Now that sounds nice until you actually think about it. A farmer can farm 1,000 acres, but he might not live on all of the 1,000 acres. So as soon as he leaves the place where he lives, he needs to buy a hunting license. Thank you so much, State of New Jersey Wildlife Conservation people. This is too much. Now, this just goes on. There's a whole page of things that the farmer has to do in order to comply with any of this crap. In a place where deer are nearly as bad here as wild hogs are in the South. Deer are rampant here in parts of New Jersey, and it's all because of people harboring them. Either gun activists and housing developments that call the police when you try and push the deer out and hunt them, or trophy hunters, which will prosecute you and arrest you if you chase the deer off their property. So the deer hide there all day long, and then at night they travel over to your farm and eat all your stuff. Imagine you're just trying to be a farmer and deal with this, and you have to have a college education to try and understand this book. Oh, disgusting. Okay. That being said, if you qualify for everything they want you to qualify for, you can, of course, get a slaughter permit as a farmer, and you can go out and shoot deer all night with a spotlight and actually be a poacher, and that's totally okay as long as you follow all the rules in the book. And if you don't have, of course, the other book, the game wardens will be happy to write you tickets and inform you of all the laws you're missing out on. Okay, let's carry on. Here we go again. Okay. Okay. Revocation of licenses. Anyone convicted of a second Fish and Game violation in this or any other state within a period of 5 years will have their New Jersey hunting and fishing privileges revoked for a minimum of 2 years. You've got to be kidding me. So, I've paid my $1,000 for my hunting licenses and permits. Now I want to hunt. That $1,000 got matched, so they got $2,000 because I want to hunt this year. $2,000 from me. And then I have to follow all of these goofy rules. All of these rules which no hunter ever has been able to follow. Not one. Not my grandfather, not your grandfather. Page 5. You can get your own book and follow along at home. All right. Okay. Deer accidentally killed by motor vehicles may be possessed only for private consumption by obtaining a free permit at the local police department. Okay. I'm driving down the road. I'm unemployed. I'm not the type of unemployed person that leeches off the government. I'm just an unemployed person because the whole world's gone bananas and nobody wants to buy anything anymore. Had good things going, but now all of a sudden, not so good. And then there, I see free food on the side of the road. Someone's hit a deer. I'm sure it was by accident. Most people don't go around hitting deer with their cars on purpose. Nonetheless, they've left all of the good protein and food on the side of the road. I get out. I sniff it. Weather's kind of cold. I drove down the road yesterday. The dead deer wasn't there. That leads me to believe it happened last night. The sun's just coming up. It's not that hot. Weather's cold. The guts are still in, but it's going to be okay. Pull the hair just to make sure the hair doesn't slip. Formaldehyde hasn't set in. Or is that the stuff they put on it? What is that? Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis has not yet set in. You want to take this deer and eat it. Don't touch it. get back in your vehicle and drive to the police station. Did I get that right? The police station? You want me to go to the police station? Why don't I just pick up my phone and call 911? 911, what's your emergency? While I was driving down the road and I noticed there's a dead deer in the ditch and I'm hungry and I don't know if you go to the grocery store, but meat's really expensive. And I know most people don't believe it, but deer meat actually tastes good and we enjoy it. My family likes it. And I just wanted to know if I could take this deer. Click. I have to call 911 because I want to eat a deer in a ditch. Or I can drive down to the police station and turn myself in. How absurd has humanity become? If I want to eat a dead deer in a ditch, I need to first go down to the police station and ask permission. This is a world of kindergartners with pens, making permanent marks on papers, thinking these college-educated, kindergarten-minded activists making rules for someone who wants to eat meat from a ditch. Leave me alone. Disgusting. Wrapped venison packages must be labeled with the permit number. Yes, because every deer hunter who eats his deer meat sits down with a pen and properly writes down a 12-digit number on every single package of meat. If you pay a butcher $200 to butcher your deer, he will not do that. That is absurd. That is complete and total absurdity. Is that really your only tactic to finding people who are selling deer meat, is to make every single hunter document every single thing they do? I have to go to the police station before I eat roadkill so they can write me a bunch of absurd tickets for my broken mirrors and lights that are hard to keep up with? Really? I'm going to turn myself into a hawk. Okay, waterfowl, waterfowl, waterfowl. We'll leave that alone. Are you being watched? Listen, you people. So here is a wonderful page that shows me, just in case I wanted to know where my $2,000 went, this shows me. The game wardens have brand new vehicles. They even got some old Yamaha four-wheelers. They've got nice bulletproof vests that they show off. And look at this. These are my buddies here. They're actually, okay, I have to start this with this. Even the goofballs that made these rules that are absurd, which I cannot live by and no one can, even them are people, and I'm a people person. I like people. I just don't like people that try and tell me what to do. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't like being told what to do, and no one does. No one does. No one wants to be told what to do. You're not a child. Even when you are a child, it's a little bit absurd when someone comes bossing around thinking they know what's best for you. If you're not hurting people around you, if you're not stealing from people around you, then no one should tell you what to do. And that's my opinion, and I live by that. These are people. These game wardens are people, and they needed a job, and this is what an interesting job. To drive around in the woods in a vehicle you don't own, so when you break it, it doesn't matter. You can drive through mud holes and have a good time. Get to be like sort of a cop, to chase people, find bad guys. Well, I wish that they spent their time finding bad guys. Unfortunately, when you have these Bibles of nonsensical rules that you have to follow, you're not finding bad guys. And this goes for police officers everywhere and game wardens. When the rules are absurd and you have to enforce them at some point, you're not doing the world a favor. You're doing humanity a big disservice because you make people's lives ruined. Ruined. You ruin people's lives. When you enforce things that first of all, you don't have to follow. None of them, because no one can follow these rules. No one drives the speed limit all the time. Your grandmother speeds at some point. I promise you, everyone's grandmother has exceeded the speed limit. That doesn't necessarily mean she gets a ticket, but she could. What if she looked like me and she was speeding? She'd get a ticket almost every time. What if somebody's just plain old ugly and smells bad? Nobody wants to deal with that. Give them a ticket every time. What if 1,000 other possibilities? What if these people are not heroes? They could be. Unfortunately, this is their job, to enforce the absurd rules in this book. Not all of them are absurd, only most of them. Okay, here I go. Wow. Look at these game wardens. In Lacey Township, New Jersey, there's a big problem. The big problem is there's land there. Desolate, empty woodland. Mostly, for the most part. A beautiful place. It's owned by the state conservation agency. That means they bought it for deer hunters and other hunters. They bought it for hunting. This land is for hunting. Sounds nice. They have a problem though. This land is very popular for driving mud trucks on and off-road vehicles. Hang on there, you're sort of following the rules if you have license plates. You can't get license plates for dirt bikes and four-wheelers. Some of them you can, some of them you can't. The ones you can't ride there. These tricky game wardens have put their no ATV sign up in the air so that the kids can't rip it down anymore. Very clever. And it almost seems, what's it say? Keep off restricted area. No one can go there. Okay. This all sounds nice until you get to thinking about it or living through it. The state of New Jersey takes my money because I want to hunt, and they get more money from the federal government, and they take care of these lands. They just buy them and keep them for hundreds of years, and it really doesn't cost anything, but they might tell you it does. So they have all this land that's devoted to hunters. Very nice. Sounds great. Until you really think about it. Think about this. You're a 15-year-old kid in Lacey Township, New Jersey. Your parents are unemployed heroin addicts. Your neighbor's a meth head. But there's some group of kids in town that likes to sneak out to the woods, thousands of acres of beautiful pine lands near the parkway and the polluted power lines, but beautiful woodland nonetheless, a nice place to ride. So these group of kids like to go out in the woods and ride, recreational riding for fun and good times, and getting your mind off of maybe the junkies around you, maybe the shitty people around you, maybe news and politics and bad news, maybe schoolwork's got you down and riding gets your mind off of it and puts you at ease and gives you something positive to focus your energy on. Maybe you're tired of living in the cancer capital of the world. Maybe you can't find a way out, but for that half a day or few hours a day that you go out to the woods and ride, maybe that's a positive way to get your energy out. Maybe that's healthy. Maybe that's good for people. Don't run into these guys. They'll fucking shoot you. They'll shoot you. They'll run you down. And then they'll take your dirt bike and impound it, and you'll never see it again. And you go back to your junkie family and you stay there. You stay in your yard. Don't come out. Don't think about riding in the polluted wasteland that is the woods in Lacey Township. I know a lot of people that when they were teenagers got in trouble for riding on the road or riding on public land, and then their license, their driver's license, which by the way you're not allowed to have as a teenager, gets taken away before you ever get it. Before you ever get your driving privilege gets suspended. It's lovely. You guys are doing real heroes' work.